8:17 p.m. That's the exact moment the modern world ends. Not with a bang, but with a click. It's the sound of every light, every screen, and every electrical motor on Earth going silent all at once. Now, a total permanent global blackout is incredibly unlikely, thanks to how decentralized our power grids are. But what if it did happen? This isn't just a local outage. This is the end of electricity as we know it. The first minute is just confusion. By the first hour, it's chaos. And by the first day, it's all about survival. Let's walk through the terrifying minute-by-minute timeline of how our world would instantly unravel. Minute 1. The Great Silence. The first 60 seconds are defined by two things: a sudden, deep darkness and an even deeper silence. For half the world plunged into night, the change is absolute. Every artificial light in every home, on every street, in every city just stops. Most people in the modern world have never experienced this kind of disorienting, primal blackness. But the silence is just as jarring. The constant hum of civilization, refrigerators, electronics, the distant roar of traffic is gone. The world, for a moment, holds its breath. On the sunlit side of the planet, the loss is less visual but just as unnerving. A computer screen dies mid-sentence. A factory floor grinds to a halt. A podcast just cuts out. In this first minute, the universal reaction isn't panic. It's simple, baffling confusion. Is it a power surge? Did a transformer blow? Most people assume it's a temporary glitch. They reach for their phones as a flashlight, only to find another problem. No Wi-Fi, no cellular service. The digital world has vanished along with the lights. Minute 3. The cascading disruption. 3 minutes in, the first deadly consequences begin to ripple outward. The most immediate danger is on the roads. Every traffic signal is dark. Intersections in dense cities become chaotic traps. Drivers, suddenly without guidance, react on instinct. Some slam on their brakes, others gun it, hoping to clear the intersection. The result is a worldwide cascade of crunching metal and shattering glass. At the same time, another crisis is unfolding vertically. In cities across the globe, elevators grind to a halt, trapping thousands of people. Underground, electric subways glide to a stop in pitch-black tunnels, imprisoning passengers. For those in the air, the situation is precarious. The plane's jet engines will keep running. They generate their own power, but communication with the ground is gone. All air traffic control towers are dark, though they will switch the backup power. Pilots are effectively flying blind, with no one to guide them to a safe landing, turning the skies into a high-stakes puzzle with a terrifyingly real risk. Minute 10. The medical emergency begins. 10 minutes into the blackout, the most vulnerable people are feeling its deadliest effects. Inside hospitals, a critical chain of events is underway. By law, backup power systems must activate within 10 seconds of an outage to support life-sustaining equipment. For a brief, heart-stopping moment, monitors flatline and ventilators stop breathing. Then, the hum of diesel generators kicks in, and the machines come back to life. This, however, is a temporary fix. These generators are designed for essential areas like operating rooms and ICUs, and they rely on a finite supply of fuel. Most hospitals are required to have enough fuel for a few days, often between 48 and 96 hours. But this assumes the backup systems work perfectly. In smaller clinics or older hospitals, generators might fail to start. For people at home who rely on powered medical devices like oxygen concentrators, there's no backup. Their lifelines are severed. The quiet tragedy of the blackout begins here, as the people most dependent on our technological world are the first to fall through the cracks. Minute 20. The dawning realization. 20 minutes in, shock gives way to a creeping collective dread. The silence is now broken by a mess of human noise, blaring car horns, shouts between neighbors, the first distant sirens. People are realizing this isn't a neighborhood problem, it's much bigger. In cities, residents spill out of their dark apartments, gathering on sidewalks, their faces lit by the flickering light of phone screens, whose batteries are now a countdown to total isolation. A strange, hauntingly beautiful thing happens next. In areas free from the chaos, people look up and are stunned. With no light pollution, they can see the cosmos in its full glory for the first time. The Milky Way is a brilliant river of light in the sky. It's a moment of terrifying beauty, seeing the universe as our ancestors did, set against the frightening reality of a world moving backward. But the awe is cut short by a new, foul smell. Sewage treatment plants, which use massive electric pumps, have shut down. Raw sewage is backing up, a grim sign of the sanitation crisis to come. Minute 45. The failure of first responders. 45 minutes have passed. The systems designed to protect us are now facing their own crisis. Emergency services are completely overwhelmed. 911 call centers, if their backups are working, are flooded with calls they can't handle. Even if they could send help, gridlock makes getting anywhere nearly impossible. Police trying to direct traffic at major intersections are fighting a losing battle. Fire departments face a nightmare. The initial power failure likely sparked fires from overloaded circuits. With no coordinated dispatch, firefighters can only react to smoke plumes they can see. But there's another problem. Their water pressure is starting to drop. The entire water infrastructure runs on electricity, and while there's still water in the system, the pressure is fading. Firefighters may arrive at a blaze only to find the hydrants are just a trickle. They face more fires with less ability to fight them. Authorities are realizing they aren't managing a disaster. They are caught inside it. Minute 60. The end of the first hour. 1 hour in, and the world has changed. The thin veneer of civilization has been stripped away with shocking speed. Communication is now almost entirely local. While many cell towers have battery backups, they typically only last for a few hours, and some have already started to fail. For the average person, the internet is gone. The cloud is out of reach. Financial transactions have stopped. Credit cards and ATMs are useless. For those trapped in trains or elevators, panic is setting in. In hospitals, doctors make impossible choices about rationing generator power. On the roads, thousands of accidents have created a landscape of wreckage, and food has begun its slow march to spoiling. A closed refrigerator can keep food safe for about 4 hours without power. After that, the clock is ticking on bacteria. The world is now divided into two groups: those who grasp how bad this is, and those who still hope the lights will flicker back on. As the first hour ends, that hope dies, replaced by a cold certainty help isn't coming. Hour 3. The water crisis. 3 hours in, the next major crisis arrives: the loss of running water. The electric pumps that move water from reservoirs to our homes have been silent for hours. The pressure is gone. Taps run dry. Toilets don't flush. For billions of people, the most basic element of life has vanished. This triggers a primal survival instinct. People start searching for any water they can find, emptying hot water heaters and collecting what they can. The public health consequences are immediate and catastrophic. Without running water, hygiene is impossible. Without sanitation, the risk of diseases like cholera skyrockets as sewers begin to overflow. This secondary disaster will ultimately be more devastating than the initial chaos. The search for clean water becomes the only thing that matters. Hour 8. The generators begin to fail. 8 hours in, the illusion of safety from backup power starts to crumble. While hospitals and critical data centers have been running on generators, these are all temporary fixes. Many smaller generators have already died. Larger facilities with days of fuel face a new problem: how to get more. Gas station pumps need electricity. The entire fuel distribution network is paralyzed. The silence of the night is now punctuated by the sputtering death of generators. A small business that was a beacon of light goes dark. A neighborhood's last powered cell tower sends its final signal. The islands of normalcy are swallowed by the darkness. This is when the psychological toll deepens. The cold seeps into homes in winter, while unbearable heat builds in the tropics. Fear of the dark is now rational. It provides cover for those who would exploit the chaos. The sense of isolation becomes absolute. Hour 12. The breakdown of order. By the 12th hour, desperation starts to turn into lawlessness.
The realization that there are no consequences, no alarms, no cameras, no police to call, emboldens some. Looting begins. It starts with targets of opportunity, but as hunger sets in, the targets shift to grocery stores and pharmacies. People who were law-abiding citizens 12 hours ago now face a stark choice: watch their families go hungry or take what they need to survive. The social contract, held together by trust and order, has ruptured. Those who were prepared with food and water now face a new threat: defending their resources from neighbors who are growing more desperate by the hour. Society begins to unravel, street by street. Hour 24. The new reality. 24 hours after the click, the world is unrecognizable. The sun rises on a planet thrown back in time. The immediate death toll from accidents and medical failures is already staggering. In every city, the smell of smoke from uncontrolled fires mixes with the stench of spoiling food and overflowing sewers. Garbage is piling up. Food in refrigerators is now likely unsafe to eat. Supermarket shelves are bare. The global economy has ceased to exist. All supply chains have been severed. Nothing is being made and nothing is being transported. The systems that feed our cities have collapsed. This is no longer a temporary emergency. It's a civilization-altering event. The fight for survival has just begun. Conclusion. In a single day, our interconnected world has been completely dismantled. The invisible force that powered our lives proved to be the single point of failure for everything. The timeline reveals a terrifying fragility in the systems we take for granted: light, communication, water, order. They weren't just conveniences, they were the pillars holding up our very existence. It shows how quickly the modern world can be unmade, not by a war or a natural disaster, but by the simple absence of a current. It leaves us with a haunting question: if the world went dark tonight, how many of us would truly be ready for the dawn?